In 1936, Mohini Rajni was born in Hyderabad, a city located in the province of Sindh. Early in her childhood, both of her parents passed away. Mohini was brought up by her three older siblings and her aunt. Prior to the 1947 partition, Sindh was located in the northwest of India. The city of Hyderabad is one of the largest cities in Sindh and was once its capital. It is situated just east of the Indus River. The native language of Sindh is Sindhi, which derives from Sanskrit and Arabic. Mohini received her education from a Sindhi school, where she learned to read and write in the language. As Hindus, Mohini and her family were minorities in a predominantly Muslim region. While they had many Sindhi Muslim friends, relations between Hindus and Muslims were becoming increasingly hostile in other parts of the country. Great Britain had just come out of World War II and could no longer afford an army in India. As a result, Britain announced that it would be departing from India, leaving the country in a state of political uncertainty. The Muslim League and the Indian National Congress were two political parties vying for power. Many Muslims around the country felt inferior to Hindus, as many Hindus had better jobs and more political power. This conflict, which was intensified by religious differences and a battle for other resources, led to the Muslim League calling for a separate state for Muslims. On August 16, 1946, Muslims marched in Calcutta to demand a separate state. Local gangs joined the march and turned it into acts of violence as they prosecuted Hindus out of hatred. Soon, both groups were killing each other in what turned out to be a very bloody battle.
One of the largest, most ethnically diverse nations in the world has been divided. One country will now become two, India and Pakistan.
Sindh would soon become a member of the new Muslim nation. For Hindus living in Sindh, this was a major concern, as some groups of Muslims openly threatened to resort to violence. These tensions led to a mass migration of Sindhi Hindus. Mohini, her three siblings, and her aunt moved to the city of Bombay as refugees. They left most of their belongings back home as they prepared for a new life in a foreign city. Fortunately, refugees were given priority status and were helped financially by the government of India. They received low-rent apartments and temporary jobs to help them settle. In 1957, after settling in Bombay for a decade, Mohini was married to Hasanand Panjwani. Many called him Hasso for short. Hasso was also a Sindhi Hindu who had fled from Hyderabad to Bombay during the partition. Mohini would now be known to the world as Padma Panjwani. In 1960, Hasso received a good job offer through his father's company and went to Nigeria for his new job. He visited India frequently, every 6 months or so. Hasso and Padma had their first child during this period. Unfortunately, she was paralyzed from birth. In 1966, Padma moved to Nigeria with her husband to permanently settle over there. Over the next few years, they had 3 children. One of them was my father, Jackie Panjwani. Padma and Hasso were very loving towards their children. Their family lifestyle revolved around spending time together, sharing stories, and spreading their joy to others in frequent parties and gatherings. During such occasions, Hasso usually took the center stage and sang the songs of the famous singer Muhammad Rafi, while Mohini could only watch in awe.
खोया खोया चाँद खुला आसमान आँखों में सारी रात जाएगी तुमको भी कैसे नींद आएगी ओ खोया खोया चाँद.
The city of Kanu in Nigeria was quite different from Bombay, but Padma seemed to have no trouble assimilating to African lifestyle.
Ah ouais, les gens n'aiment pas les gens, mais les gens avancent. Laisse pas le parrain m'accepter. Le retour en force de Djembogo, le bango premier, ça va se sentir. Otoruno El Samouraï, le roi de Zamunda, laissez tomber à faire la chute. Hein, Aladji, 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 Aladji.
Although culture in Kanu was different from India, the nation did not lack an Indian community. This small group helped my family preserve its roots and even helped spread it to Nigerians themselves. Padma and Hasso's Nigerian friends would usually say phrases in Sindhi, and Hasso would respond back in Igbo, one of the popular tribal languages of Nigeria. While the Panjwani family was happy living in Nigeria, the political climate in the country was not friendly. Nigeria had been under British rule for 60 years, and had only gained its independence in 1960. There were frequent riots, and the government was generally unstable and corrupt in the early years. However, as someone who had a tough childhood and survived partition, Padma was more than prepared to remain a strong mother and wife. In 2004, Padma's health was suffering, and she moved back to India to receive proper health care. 3 years later, both she and Hasso passed away.
सवार जन्म लेंगे सवार फना होंगे ऐ जान वफा फिर भी हम तुम न जुदा होंगे सवार जन्म लेंगे सवार फना